Okay. All right. Thank you guys for joining me. I am going to be practicing along with you for most of the practice. Some of the poses where it might interfere with the sound, I'll stay out of those poses, but I'll cue you through them. So we are going to start towards the front of your mat, either sitting in hero's pose like this, or sitting on your bottom in an easy seat pose. So I'm going to stay kind of turned to the side a little bit so that you can see what every pose looks like from an angle. But I invite you to come to your seat, start to bring in your awareness as much as you can to your mat. This practice is focused on the heart chakra. Chakras are energy centers in your body. Starting from the root of your pelvis through the crown of your head, you have 7 different chakra energy centers in your body, and we're focusing on the heart chakra tonight. The heart chakra is when your energy is aligned and centered, where you are able to receive and give love, grace, compassion, and offer abundance. So probably by this time this evening, we're a little bit tired, maybe running a little short on those things. So hopefully by the end of the practice, we can come back to a place of being our full selves, our best selves, so that we can end our day and start our day tomorrow in our best place, as our best selves. In your practice, normally you will have your hands at heart center. What I'd like to ask you to do today is a specific mudra or hand placement that connects with the heart chakra, and that's the lotus mudra. The lotus mudra is if you have your hands at heart center, and then keeping your pinkies touching and your thumbs touching, open your middle 3 fingers so that if you can kind of see that, it looks like a lotus flower. So the outsides of your pinkies roll open and touch. The outsides of your thumbs roll open and touch. Keeping this mudra at your heart center, the lotus flower connects to the heart chakra because of what the lotus flower embodies. It's about honoring the inner beauty, the ability to rise above darkness, and blossom despite the mud and muck that it comes from. Start to close your eyes, keeping your lotus mudra at your heart, bringing awareness to your breath. Working toward a 4 or 5 or 6 second inhale. Pausing at the top. And your exhale just as long or maybe longer than your inhale. Continuing to inhale to the count of 4 or more. Exhale. Oftentimes, when practicing using the lotus mudra, yogis will bring their lotus mudra from the heart space to the 3rd eye space, which is between your eyebrows. So you can lift your lotus mudra up here to your 3rd eye space. The idea in this practice is taking the wisdom from your 3rd eye space on your inhale, and on your exhale, bringing your lotus mudra back down to your heart center, bringing that wisdom into your heart space. Another inhale to your 3rd eye space. Exhale, bringing that wisdom down to your heart space. Continue with that movement and that practice, inhaling to your third eye space, exhaling to your heart space as I share this short lotus flower story. You can either keep yourself up at night wondering, why me? You can hide under your covers and tell everyone you're wrong and you'll never be right. Or you can see all of this heartbreak, pain, conflict, imperfection as an opportunity to emerge from the concealed depths in the gleaming luminescence and become stronger. It is your choice to decide whether to drown in your troubles or to courageously survive. Because the harder the struggle, the more spirited you become in the end. The deeper the mud, the more beautiful the lotus blooms. Bringing your lotus mudra back to heart center. Inhale, bring your arms up overhead. Exhale, bring your left hand to your right knee, right arm behind you for a seated twist. On your inhale, lengthen your spine, reach up through the crown of your head, and then your exhale brings you into the twist a little bit further. Stay here for another inhale to lengthen. Exhale to twist a little bit deeper. Inhale, lift your right arm up to your ear, staying in this twist from your core. Exhaling, bringing that right hand to your left knee, crossing your arms at the elbows, breathing in and pushing out through your back body. Rounding your spine. On your inhale, keeping your arms crossed as they are, so your left arm is on the bottom, wrap your arms up into eagle arms. If you are not able to do this, if your shoulders are too tight, just give your shoulders a hug. From eagle arms, you're gonna inhale forward and up, opening the heart space, opening the chest. Exhale, folding forward. Again, expanding that back body. Inhale, opening up the heart space one more time. Exhale, folding forward. Breathing into the back body, expanding. Inhale, arms up to the top, lotus flower mudra if you'd like. Exhale, we're now going to twist to the left. So your right hand is going to go to your left knee, left hand behind you. Inhale to lengthen your spine, reaching out to the crown of your head. Exhale to twist. Inhale, staying here to lengthen. Exhale to twist a little deeper. On your next inhale, your left arm reaches up to your ear, staying in your twist. Exhale, cross your arms over, left hand to your right knee, breathing into your back body, rounding your spine. On your inhale, leaving your arms crossed, now your right arm is under, coming back into your eagle arms or hugging your shoulders. Your inhale opens your chest. Exhale, round your spine, breathing into your back body. Inhale to open. Exhale to fold and round your spine. Your inhale brings your arm up overhead, lotus mudra at the top if you'd like. On your exhale, plant your right hand next to your right hip, and you're gonna reach your left arm up and over. We're focusing on opening the heart, so I want you to be mindful that you're not closing off your upper body. Rotate your upper body open, allowing your heart space to open to the ceiling, looking out underneath that arm, taking a deep breath, expanding your intercostal muscles in your rib cage. Exhale, inhale, come back to center, arms up overhead. Exhale, now to your left, planting your left hand beside your hip. Bringing your right arm up and over. Again, mindful not to close your body off, but open your chest and your heart space to the ceiling. Push that right hip back down to the ground so that you feel that stretch even deeper in your right side body. Inhale, arms up. One more time each side. Plant your right hand, reach over with your left. Pushing through that left hip, opening your side body even more, breathing in to expand your chest. Exhale, inhale to center. Exhale to the left, planting your left hand, looking up and over through your right arm, pushing down maybe into that left hand so that you push that right hip down a little bit further, reaching up and over, opening that right side body. Inhale, arms up. Now from here, your hands are overhead, maybe in Lotus Mudra. We're gonna work on goddess arms. We're gonna use these a lot in our practice. So on your exhale, open your hands, and you're gonna bring your arms down into 90-degree angles, maybe even a little bit lower. You're working to really open that front body, that heart space. You're squeezing your shoulder blades together so much so that you can hold a pen between your shoulder blades. Your arms are engaged, your fingers are engaged, all the energy is still there, just as powerful, like you're holding on to something that's very heavy, even though there's nothing there. On your inhale, you're gonna lift just as much energy coming back into your hands up overhead in your Lotus Mudra. Exhale, bring your goddess arms back down. Squeeze your shoulder blades. Feel those come together down your back, towards your spine as your arms come down. Inhale, arms up. The energy in your arms on the way up should be just as much as your energy in your arms on your way down. One more time, exhale and squeeze your shoulder blades, roll down your spine. Inhale, arms up. Lotus Mudra at the top. Inhale, exhale, bring your hands down to heart center in your Lotus Mudra. We're gonna do one last quick heart opener twist while we're on our seats, and then we'll move into tabletop. From here, inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, take your right hand to your left knee. Your left hand is still up in the air. I want you to take your left hand and put it behind your head like you would for a push-up. On your exhale, you're gonna crunch over, bring your left elbow towards your right knee. It's probably not gonna touch. On your inhale, keeping your right hand on your knee, use that as leverage to open up your left side body. Heart space open to the wall and the ceiling. Your left arm is just, it's engaged, but it's not pushing on the back of your head. Exhale to crunch and close. Inhale to open, using that right hand as leverage on your knee to open the heart space. Exhale to crunch. Inhale, both arms up overhead into Lotus Mudra. Exhale, opposite side. I want you to bring your left hand to your right knee. Your right arm is up. Bring it behind your head like you would for a sit-up. Your exhale closes off, twist towards the left knee. Probably not going to get there. Inhale, open up the right side body, using your left hand for leverage on your right knee. Exhale to close and crunch. Inhale to open. Look up towards the ceiling. Open your side body. Open your chest towards the ceiling. Exhale to close and twist. Inhale, arms up overhead. Lotus Mudra if you'd like, and down to your heart center. Go ahead and rock forward gently, coming into a tabletop position towards the middle of your mat. When you're in your tabletop, you want to have your shoulders over your wrists. Your elbow creases are going to be facing towards the front edge of your mat. So you're going to have your pointer finger pointing straight up, not your middle finger. Looking back at your knees, you should not be able to see your toes behind your knees. If this is, if you're working on balance here maybe a little bit, or you're looking for some more stability, you might tuck your toes. We're gonna do some cat-cows. On your inhale, rounding the spine, looking up, feeling that stretch and opening in the front body. Exhale, push through your hands, through the shoulders, rounding your spine into your cat. Inhale to cow. Feel that opening in your heart space and your front body. Exhale, pushing into cat, rounding your spine, coming into a neutral spine here. Checking in on your shoulders over your wrists, your hips over your knees, and your toes either tucked or not. We're gonna thread the needle here. We're gonna do it a couple different times, hovering the first few times, and then resting on the third. Inhale, your right arm comes open. Follow your gaze with your fingers. You're gonna bring your right arm through your left arm. Lower your head, your shoulder, your arm, but don't rest it on the ground yet. Inhale, brings your right arm back up. Follow it with your gaze. Exhale, thread the needle, hover, don't rest it down yet. Inhale, right arm up. Opening that heart space. Exhale, now bring your right temple down to the ground, the side of your head. Rest your shoulder, rest your right arm. Your right arm is still engaged. It's not fully engaged, but just definitely still active. Hold here and take a breath. Inhale, bring that right arm back up. And your exhale brings it down next to your left. Check your positioning in your tabletop here. Shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. Same thing on the left-hand side, 2 times to hover. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, thread the needle with your right arm, lowering your head and your arm, but not touching yet. Inhale to open, following the gaze up to the ceiling. Exhale, thread the needle. Inhale to open. This time we're gonna thread the needle and we're gonna plant on your exhale, your left temple, left shoulder, still active in your left hand. Inhale, left arm comes up. Follow it with your gaze. And exhale, brings it back down to your tabletop. All right, we're gonna work through a supported plank and chaturanga into up dog. We're gonna do this several times in the middle of our practice. So this is kind of getting us warmed up. I want you to scoot your knees back a little bit so your hips are more forward than your knees are. Your wrists are still underneath your shoulders. We're gonna come into a supported plank, into a chaturanga. What we're gonna work on, making sure that those elbow creases are parallel to the front of your mat. When you lower down into your chaturanga, which is a half push-up, you're going to lower, your elbows are coming down, squeezing into your side body. You're not lowering down into a push-up with elbows out to a side. So on your exhale, lower down halfway, arms are at a 90-degree angle, hold it here. Your inhale, you're gonna push through your hands into your cobra. Cobra arms might be straight, maybe they're bent. If this is too, like if you're feeling pinching in your back or tightness in your back, you might also just stay lower here. From your cobra, we're gonna go back into child's pose. So you're going to push your hips up and back, knees are wide, toes together, child's pose. Third eye space is touching the mat. Inhale, come back up into your tabletop, but your hips are more forward than your knees. Lowering down into that supported plank chaturanga, elbows back to 90 degrees. Inhale to cobra and up dog. Exhale to child's pose. Take a breath here. We're gonna move into some sun salutations, sun Bs. So we're gonna follow that same flow a little bit, but we're gonna get up and moving. From here, come back up into your tabletop, tuck your toes, push up and back into your downward facing dog. From here, you're working your heels toward the ground, but they might not touch. That's not the purpose of the pose. The purpose of downward facing dog is working your legs and your upper body into a 90-degree angle, opening that heart space. From your downward facing dog, take a breath in, exhale, inhale. We're gonna walk forward so that your hands are between your feet are between your hands. This is our forward fold. We're gonna come here often. Inhale brings you to a half lift. Your back and your spine is straight and your neck is not lifted. Straight line from your spine to the crown of your head. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale, arms up, all the way up to Tadasana, maybe Lotus Mudra at the top. Exhale, hands are down to your heart. We're gonna start into our sun B now. Inhale, we're gonna come into chair pose. This is a traditional chair pose. What I'd like to offer you is goddess arms in our chair pose so that we extend this into a heart opening pose. Engage those shoulders, pull them together so that you can hold a pencil between your shoulder blades. Hold it here. Take a peek down. If your knees are over your toes, if you can't see your toes, shift your weight back so that you can see your toes. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, we're gonna plant your hands. You're gonna step back into plank. If you'd rather supported plank like we did just before, that's fine. In your chaturanga, you're gonna push forward, lower 90 degrees for your arms. Inhale is gonna be your cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. On your next inhale, we're gonna lift the right leg. As your right leg lifts, square your hips down to the mat. Don't open your hips. On your inhale, bring your knee into your chest, pushing up on your left foot so that you create the space for your right foot to come forward so that you're in a runner's lunge. Before you try to stand up, get your balance here. If you need to widen your stance, scoot your legs out to the edges of your mat. Once you're here and you have a firm foundation, you're going to inhale to your high lunge. I'd like to offer you crescent lunge here where you're doing more of a heart opener. So a little bit of a back bend here, only if you have the balance. Exhale, frame your front foot. Bring your right foot back to meet the left. Maybe drop your knees into supported plank. Flow through your chaturanga, half push-up. Inhale to cobra. Exhale to downward facing dog. Inhale, now your left leg lifts. Exhale, pull that knee into your chest, push up on your right toes, create space to plant your left foot. Get your foundation. Inhale when you have your balance to high lunge. If you have your balance and you want to take it a little bit more into a heart opener, crescent lunge. Being mindful that you want your hips to stay squared to the front of your mat. Exhale, plant your hands, framing your front foot, step your left foot back, drop your knees if you want supported plank, into your half push-up chaturanga. Inhale to up dog or cobra. Exhale to downward facing dog. Inhale, look forward towards your hands. On your exhale, you can step your feet forward or hop forward so your feet are between your hands. Inhale, halfway lift, extending your straight spine through your crown. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale, we're gonna come up to chair with our goddess arms. Make sure your knees are not passing over your toes. Engage your arms. Squeeze your shoulder blades back. Hold it here, breathe, inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step or hop your feet back into your plank or drop your knees for supported plank. Inhale, exhale, chaturanga. Inhale to cobra or up dog. Up dog is just like your cobra, except you're going to engage your legs so that your thighs, your knees, and probably your shins are lifting off the mat. Exhale to downward facing dog. Take a breath, inhale. Exhale. Inhale, lift your right leg up, keeping your hips squared to the mat. Inhale, squeeze that knee into your chest. Push up onto the ball of your left foot, creating space for your right leg to come forward between your hands. Find that foundation here. When you have your balance, come up into your high lunge, crescent lunge for a heart opener. Breathe. Exhale, forward fold. Frame your front foot. Step your right foot back. Maybe supported plank. Lower into chaturanga on your exhale. Inhale to your cobra or up dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot lifts. Hips are squared to the mat. Inhale, squeeze that knee to your chest. Create space to plant your left foot between your hands. Maybe widen your stance if you need to for balance. When you have your balance, slowly lift up for high lunge or crescent lunge. Take an inhale. Exhale, plant the hands. Move your left foot back to meet your right. Lower your knees if you'd like for the supported plank. Exhale to chaturanga. Inhale to up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, look up between your hands. Step or hop on your exhale to a forward fold. Inhale, flat back, reaching out through the crown of your head. Exhale, forward fold. On this next inhale, we're gonna come up to chair in our goddess arms. So your feet are probably going to be a fist distance apart. When you're ready, on your inhale, up to chair, here, goddess arms if you'd like, heart opener. Hold it here, peek down at your toes. If you cannot see your toes, you need to shift your weight back. Hold it here on an inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to plant your hands. Step or hop your feet back into your plank. Drop your knees if you'd like it supported. Lower in your chaturanga. Inhale to up dog or cobra. Exhale to downward facing dog. Go ahead and drop your knees wide, toes touch. Come into child's pose at the back of your mat. Arms are extended straight overhead. Your heart space is open through the opening of your arms and your chest. Third eye space is touching the mat also. Come back to your breathing here. Think about that lotus flower. Each day having to rise from the muddy water that it's rooted into, going through the water, traveling to the surface of the water, cleansing itself on the way, reaching the surface of the water, a perfectly clean, beautiful flower unaffected by the mud that it just rose from. From here, take an inhale, look forward, up between your hands. You're gonna slither up, so slowly kind of pull yourself up through your hands into your cobra or up dog here. Push up and back into your downward facing dog. Inhale, look forward between your hands. Exhale, step or hop forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, up to mountain pose, Tadasana. Lotus Mudra at the top, and bring it to your heart center. All right, we're gonna come into a couple of different standing balance poses. So the first is gonna be tree pose. So I'm gonna turn and face you guys a little bit so that you can see my foot placement. Your foundation and your foot placement is gonna be critical to your balance. So we're gonna start on the right side. Lift your right toes up off the mat. Root down through your four corners of your foot. So you should feel the two outside parts of your heel, the two outside parts of your big toe mound and little toe mound. Lifting your toes now. Spread your toes wide and grip them down into the mat. Engage your thigh so that it lifts your kneecap up. Feel that firm foundation. From here, we're going to lift our left leg first. Your left leg is either going to come to this first position here as a kickstand. So your toes are still on the mat and your heel is resting on the inside of your lower shin. If you have your balance here, lift your leg to the side of your shin, working your left leg open. Don't forget to keep that right leg engaged. If you're good here on your balance, lift your left foot to the inside of your right thigh. The only thing I want you to be mindful of is that that foot placement is not on your knee. It will put too much pressure pushing your knee out to the right. That will cause injury over time. So firm foundation, wherever your foot placement works for you. Now I want you to be mindful of your hand placement. Maybe you have it here at heart center in your Lotus Mudra. Maybe you have it overhead in your Lotus Mudra. Maybe you have it in goddess arms. I'm going to turn a little bit so you can see what this will look like. Your goddess arms will come down like they have been. And maybe you even take it into a little bit of a back bend heart opener. Breathing here. This is only going to work if your foundation is strong and your core is engaged. Inhale. Exhale. Release, come back to center. Shake out your feet. We're going to do it on the left side now. Lifting your left toes. Root down through the four corners of your foot. Spread your left toes wide. Grip down into the mat with those toes. Engage your thigh, lifting your kneecap up, making a firm foundation leg. Your left side might be different from your right side. So start with your kickstand, maybe to your shin, maybe to your inner thigh. Then worry about your hands. Maybe at your heart center, maybe overhead in your Lotus Mudra, maybe goddess arms, maybe heart opener. Hold it here. Oh, goodness. If you fall out, just come back in. Don't give up after the first attempt. Try it again. That lotus flower comes up every single day, despite the roots being in the mud. Exhale, slowly, carefully bring that right leg down. Inhale, arms up overhead. Tadasana. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step or hop your feet back into your plank, maybe supported plank, and you drop your knees. Push forward into your chaturanga, 90-degree arms, half push up. Inhale to your cobra or up dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. Inhale, look forward between your hands. Exhale, step, hop, jump, or handstand forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms up overhead. Lotus mudra to your heart center. All right, we're gonna work into warrior 3, which is our second balance pose. If you want to stay with tree, work on tree. We're gonna make the same firm foundation with our right foot here. Lift your toes, root down through the 4 corners of your foot. Spread your toes wide, grip down into the mat. Engage your thigh, lifting your kneecap. When you have this firm foundation, you're going to slowly lift your left leg into a 90-degree bend in front of you. This is crow pose. Hand and heart center in your lotus mudra. Engage your foot like you're gonna stomp on the mat. If you have your balance here, we're gonna work forward into warrior 3. Maybe you just stay here, and that's okay. On your exhale, you're going to hinge forward at the hip, pushing through your heel like you're gonna stomp on the back wall. Your head is not lifted. Keep it so that you have a straight line from your spine through the crown of your head. Hands can stay at heart center in lotus mudra. Check your hips. Make sure they're not splayed open to the side. You want them to be rooted, squared down, parallel to your mat. Breathe in here, stay and hold. If you fall out, come back in. If the balance is not working for you, feel free to reach a hand or 2 hands down. On your inhale, I want you to come back up into crane before you put that left foot down. Exhale, plant your left foot. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands to heart center. We're gonna go on the opposite foot now, on the left foot. Root down through the left foot, 4 corners, lift your left toes, spread them wide. Grip down into the mat, engage your leg, lifting your kneecap. Carefully lifting your right leg. If you have your balance here, hands at heart center for your lotus mudra, hinge at the hips, kicking your right foot out straight behind you, making a straight line from your right heel through the crown of your head. Square your hips down to the mat. If you want to take this a little bit further, maybe reaching your arms out in front of you, keeping that lotus mudra, maybe goddess arms. Breathe here in this pose. The more firm your standing leg, the more balance you will have. Your lifted leg should be just as engaged as your standing leg. On your inhale, we're gonna come back to crow before you plant your foot, hands at heart center, and put your right foot down. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands. Step or hop your feet back into your plank. Maybe drop your knees for supported plank into your chaturanga half push-up. Inhale into your cobra or up dog. Exhale to your downward facing dog. Take a breath here. One more standing pose. Inhale, look between your hands. Exhale, step or hop forward into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms up overhead, hands to heart center. All right, we're gonna work into dancer now. If you wanna stick with tree, stick with tree. If you did tree twice, then maybe you wanna try warrior three. For dancer, the same strong foundation in that standing leg. Lift, we're gonna stand on our right leg first. Lift your toes, root down through all four corners of your foot. Spread your toes wide as you grip down into the mat. Once that standing leg is engaged, I want you to just come up kind of on your tiptoes here for a second with your left foot. I want you to bring your right hand to your hip. I'll come this way first. Right hand to your hip. Left hand is out like a serving tray. You've got a serving tray over here, carrying some cocktails around. You're gonna drop that left hand, keeping your hand placement the same, like you're holding that tray. When you have your balance, your standing leg is firm. You're gonna lift your left foot into your hand. You're gonna be holding it on the inside of your foot. Stay here until you have your balance. Bring your right arm up next to your ear. When you have your balance here, you're gonna start to kick into your left foot. Kick, kick, kick. Your foot is kicking before you do anything else with your upper body. As you kick even harder, the harder you kick, the more your body is gonna wanna hinge forward. Then you start to hinge forward. Here's the thing. You need a strong standing leg, engaging your core, and finding a spot on the wall where you can stare it down for your focus point, your drishti. Hold it here. If you fall out, come back in. Hold it here. Try it again. If you have it, take an inhale here. Exhale, come back into crane and plant your foot. Shake it out. Inhale, arms up. Lotus mudra to your heart. Same thing on the left-hand side now. Lifting your left toes. Root down through the four corners of your foot. Spread your toes wide and grip down into the mat. Come up on your tippy toes, just for a kind of a starting point for balance. Again, maybe you're working on tree or warrior three. Standing leg foundation is firm. Left hand is on your hip, right hand is out like a serving tray. Drop your right hand down, keeping your hand open for your foot. If you're here and you have your balance, maybe just stay here, work on balance. Engage that standing leg, engage the core. When you have your balance, lift your left arm to your ear. Start to kick into that right foot. Kick, kick, kick. The harder you kick, the more engaged your standing leg, the more you're focused on that central spot to stare it down, the more you're breathing, the more stable you will be. Hold it here. If you fall out, come back in. You need the wall, use the wall. Come back in, stare it down and hold. Hold. Inhale brings you back to crow. And exhale your foot down. Inhale, arms up. Nice job. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step your feet back into your plank. Drop your knees for supported plank. Lower down into your half push-up. Inhale to cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Hold it here. Exhale, knees wide, toes together, coming into your child's pose. Bring your awareness back to your breath. slow it down if you need to. Being mindful of your inhales and your exhales to the count of 4 or more. Thinking about the journey that you've had in your practice so far tonight. Like we're still in the middle of the journey from the muddy roots through the water to the surface. We are almost there. From your child's pose, take an inhale, look up through your hands. Inhale, we're gonna slither up through our arms into that cobra or up dog. Inhale, tuck your toes, push up and back for downward facing dog. Inhale, look forward between your hands. Exhale, step, hop, jump, handstand to a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, arms up overhead. Lotus Mudra at the top to your heart center. We're going to bring it down to the mat now for a little bit of core work before we finish. Bring your stance out wide to the edges of your mat. Feet are going to be at a 45-degree angle. Your heels will probably be on your mat. Your feet might be, like your toes might be off the mat. We're going to come down into Malasana, which is like a yogi squat. If this is not comfortable for you or causes any pain or pinching, you're just going to come down to a seated pose, seated posture. If you're going to go in through Malasana with me, hands at heart center, slowly come down into your yogi squat. Hands stay at your heart center. Feet are at 45-degree angles. As you exhale, slow and controlled, come down to your butt. We're going to come in to do a couple of boats here. Your feet, your knees are bent, 45 degrees. Your hands are going to come and plant by just behind your hips, not next to your hips, but just behind them. Take a breath here. We're going to work on the feet first. On your inhale. Now exhale, lift your feet. You're working from your knees to your toes into a straight line here. Leaning back, keep your hands down on the ground. Breathe. Exhale, plant your feet. Work on making sure that your hands are in the right placement here. Now we're going to keep our feet planted and work on our arm placement. With your feet planted on the ground, knees still bent. Inhale. Exhale, keep your core engaged. Reach your arms out beside your knees. Arms are straight from the shoulder through the fingertips. Toes are still planted. Breathing on your inhale. And an exhale. Inhale, plant your hands behind your hips. All right, we're going to do a couple of dynamic boats now, and then we'll be ready for our cool down here. On your next inhale, take a deep breath. Exhale, lift your feet, boat legs. Lift your arms, boat arms. Breathe. On your exhale, you're going to lower and hover. Inhale, back to boat. 3 more. Exhale, lower and hover. Inhale to boat. 2 more. Lower on your exhale to hover. Inhale to boat. Lower on your exhale. Don't let go yet. Inhale to boat. 1 more exhale. Lower to hover and hold. 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 And release. Let go. Letting your feet fall open, your arms fall open. Carefully roll over onto your stomach from here. So your head is going to be at the back of your mat. I want you to put your hands under your shoulders. I'm just going to do a couple of quick dynamic cobras to work out the stomach a little bit here after those boats. So on your inhale, lift up to cobra. Exhale down. Inhale, roll your shoulders up and back. Down your back to cobra. Exhale. One more. Inhale, roll your shoulders down your back into your cobra. Exhale, lower down. Listen carefully to my cues. This is where I'm not going to be able to do the exact same thing as you with my, so that you can understand me. Put your right ear down on the mat. Put your arms out at goalpost or goddess arms. So you're looking to your left, right ear on the mat. Take your right knee up to your right elbow. So you're looking the opposite way of the leg you just lifted. Right knee is working towards your right elbow and you're looking off to the left. Just relax. Let gravity do its work here. On your next inhale, you're going to pull your right leg back down with your thigh next to your left thigh, but your knee is bent at 90 degrees. Take your left arm out long to a T. Your right hand plants under your right shoulder. On your inhale, you're going to use your right hand to push your right foot up and over your left leg. Your head rests on the mat. If this is too much on your shoulder, roll back onto your stomach, put your arm out overhead, use it as a pillow and roll over onto your left leg so that your right knee is bent and your right foot is behind your left leg. If you want one final heart opener, lift your right arm, internally rotate so that your thumb comes towards your feet, and then put your arm behind your back, opening your chest, your heart space to the ceiling a little bit more. Breathe here. On your next inhale, your right hand comes back down to the mat, rolling back over hip, thigh, knee, leg down on the right side. Arms back out to goalpost arms. Now your left ear is down on the mat, looking to the right. Lift your left knee towards your left elbow. Head is relaxed. Let go of the tension in your face, between your eyebrows. Let gravity do the work here to just release. On your next inhale, you're going to bring your left leg back towards your right. Just your thigh, leg is bent at the knee. You're going to take your right arm out long to a T or straight up overhead if that was too much on your shoulder. With your left hand under your left shoulder, push up and over so that your left leg and left foot comes behind your right leg. Again, if you want this as a final heart opener, lifting that left arm up overhead, internally rotate that thumb so it's pointing towards your toes. Place that hand behind your back and just open your heart space a little bit more. Breathing here. On your inhale, lift your arm. If it's not, plant it back down on the mat. Use it to control your roll back over, hip, thigh, knee, leg, back down to the mat. Reach both arms up overhead, pointing your toes, a big stretch, sending energy out through your fingertips, all the way through your arms, down your spine, out through your toes, and release. Go ahead and carefully roll over to your back. If you have a towel or a blanket, now's the time to grab it. If you roll it up, you're gonna put this along your spine. So I want the top of your towel or blanket to rest just below the bottom of your head, of your skull. So it's gonna be along your spine like this. As you lay down, if you don't have one, it's okay. As you lay down, headed into your corpse pose for Savasana, your chest is naturally going to lift because of that support behind your spine or under your spine. Find your comfortable space. If it's comfortable on your neck, ideally that blanket or towel is just below your head at the top of your spine so that your neck and your head are able to fall a little bit lower, a little more open. Let your heels root down into the mat, letting your toes and the tops of your feet fall open. Let your arms come out to the side, palms open, like your hands are individual little lotus flowers at the top of the water. Your heart space should be the highest point on your body here, opening that space. Now that we have finished our journey, starting our practice, our roots in the mud and the muck, our sequence of poses, taking us through heart opening poses towards the surface of the water. And now our heart chakra, heart space is at the surface of the water. Open, pure, its full potential, best self. Letting go of those things that you maybe started in your mind at the beginning of this practice. Letting go of those anxieties, frustrations, imperfections, and focusing on the positive, the brightness. Take a minute here and just focus on those positive things. Those things you want to be aware of. You want to practice more of. I'm going to leave you here in Savasana tonight, finishing by repeating the lotus flower story that I started our practice with. You can either keep yourself up at night wondering, why me? You can hide under your covers and tell everyone you're wrong and you'll never be right. Or you can see all this heartbreak, pain, conflict, imperfection as an opportunity to emerge from the concealed depths of the gleaming luminescence and become stronger. It is your choice to decide whether to drown in your troubles or to courageously survive. Because the harder the struggle, the more spirited you become in the end. The deeper the mud, the more beautiful the lotus blooms. I sincerely appreciate all of you joining me this evening for this practice. I am humbled by your kindness and your generosity, and take that with me into tomorrow, starting another great day. The light in me sees and honors the light in each and every one of you. Namaste.